Hello, my name is Cozy. I'm an illustrator, and you're never gonna believe this, but I drew something. I made a Patreon recently, and so I did this as a live stream to do the art for the membership tiers, but I'm not entirely sure that I want it to be the art for the membership tiers anymore. So more than anything, it was a pretty nice hand study. I desperately need to do more hand studies for sure. But anyways, I'm gonna show you the time lapse now, and then I'm gonna talk about my process doing it all. So yeah, thanks for watching and enjoy. So I had already gotten a sketch down off camera, and then I started this up as a stream on Twitch. But I got started by getting a flat color down for the hand, and then I put in a basic gradient as a foundation for how I wanted the color temperatures to shift around in the hand. I did something that's kind of similar to how you might typically want to simplify and exaggerate the color tone shifts of a face, where at the top you have it very like yellow, in the middle it's a lot more like red and orange because of like the blush and the blood, and then the chin or the bottom and the mouth and everything is more like a blue or a green, which is cool. But I thought it would be pretty fun on a hand as well. Since this was going to be a study, I thought that because I'm a bit uncomfortable doing hands because I'm not too experienced with them in the first place, that I would leave all of my stylization more towards the dynamicism of the colors, as well as how I wanted to render the effects, the special effects. The idea was that there was going to be like this spark or this like star droplet thing in the middle of the hand. I just thought it would be really cool, and so I wanted to make sure I stylize that heavily and then just put a lot of focus onto having the hand feel pretty dynamic. I'm putting in the base shadow shapes right now, and I'm going in and I'm defining like where I want the soft edges to be, not only realistically but also stylistically, how I feel like it could look really appealing, you know, if I maybe softened it here versus there. Again, I'm not too experienced with hands in the first place, and so I'm not worrying too much about the anatomical accuracy with not only the forms with the shadows and the lighting, but also just the proportions in general. I'm really just trying to have fun with it and make sure that it looks cool and interesting, especially when it comes to how the lighting casts on the different parts of the hand and how the colors interact with each other. Now I'm kind of defining some of the edges of the hand, blending into that black background. I think it's really nice to have a lot of, not a lot, but some intentional soft edges, and then also a lot of intentional hard edges. It's that intention that's behind where you place them that I think adds a lot to your piece. So I opened my sketch back up just to help me find a little bit more of the form there. Oh, here I'm showing off some of the other hand sketches that I had planned out. Like I said, it was originally going to be the membership tiers for my Patreon, but I don't know if I want to do that anymore. I kind of want to do something that's a little more fantasy-y, you know, something that feels a little more nerdy. Hands are really cool and awesome, but dragons are kind of cooler to me. You know what I mean? Something like that I think might be more fun. So I have to just think about it a bit more. Anyways, I'm doing the lighting now. I picked some general areas where I want the light to come in, and I'm really struggling here because I'm not sure exactly how I wanted to handle it. I didn't know if I wanted the spark thing to be the main point of light, or if I just wanted to like make fun and cool light shapes. Again, like this isn't for a client or something. I'm not worried about selling this or whatever. I'm really just trying to have fun with it and make something that I think looks cool. And that's kind of been a big thing that I've had to put a lot of emphasis on for myself when I've been making art lately in these past few years, is to not get so tied up in the rudimentary, like foundational things, these guidelines. I've already learned the fundamentals for the most part, and so I can kind of trust myself to trust the process and get to where I need to. I don't have to worry so much about everything being so perfectly accurate. I mean, of course I can always like make it better and make things more awesome and accurate and perfect or whatever, but I really don't need to. As long as I'm focusing on those skills that I've already built up, and then really putting a lot of care into what I think looks cool and really trying to make it visually appealing, it's gonna more likely than not be visually appealing. So I'm just refining a lot of the shapes here. I'm adding a little bit of rim light. I'm really not sure what I want to do in the palm. That was another issue of the kind of spark thing being the central point of light, is that if it was the main light source, then that kind of ruins the value there, and it doesn't stand out as strongly. I wanted it to be on a dark background so that it stuck out a lot, so that it could be a strong focal point. And so I was being kind of indecisive there on how I wanted to handle that. Now I'm just adding some little shape variation, but mainly color variation. I'm going in and adding some more hard edges on what I felt like was predominantly too soft with all of these shapes, and I think that turned out very well. Sometimes if I'm not careful, things can feel a little too airbrushed. I think that goes for about every artist, you know, and it's a common issue or struggle that I see with a lot of beginner artists, is that they might over render something or like airbrush something. And so it's good to always come back and be definitive with what you want to be a hard edge and say this right here is going to be hard. Now I'm going in and I'm doing what I was talking about earlier, trying to figure out how I can make this feel like a light source without washing it out, you know, and having it blend into the hand, because I really didn't want that to happen. And now I'm messing around with the background, seeing how I want to do it exactly. I felt like pure black was nice with the contrast, but I also feel like it's a little bit boring. I have an opportunity to do some stuff with texture and some really interesting things back there if I do it right. And so I spent a while trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to handle that. Now I'm like second guessing myself, thinking if I need to put in like a wrist. I ultimately decided no, I don't, I'm good. And so now I'm messing around with the spark again, which is kind of my favorite part of the whole thing. You know, it's the stylization. That's kind of my favorite part of the process for all art that I make. And so I've got the general idea for the hand there. I'm kind of second guessing myself a little bit with the colors for a second, but for the most part, the hand is there. I want to decide how I want to make this special and how I want to make it stand out. What I want to do to make it feel cool, you know? So I'm messing around with some different layer styles, some blending modes, and then I'm changing my mind a little bit on exactly where I want the warm colors and which ones I want to be warm versus cool. I ultimately decided that I really wanted to push this exaggerated feel of warmth coming from the fingertips and losing its warmth down towards the wrist and getting cooler and colder down there, which I ultimately think was the right idea, because it turns out really, really cool in my opinion. I'm doing this thing now with the background where I'm pushing this warmth, and again this is where I started deciding on that fingertip thing, because I'm pushing a lot of these warmer tones behind the fingers up there to kind of give this illusion that light is bouncing off of it so harshly and so impactfully that it's causing this kind of aura around it, which I think adds a lot. It's not too noticeable, but I think it adds a good amount. here I am throwing on a posterized layer, which kind of breaks down the threshold of the colors and the values to their bare minimum. I like to do that with a lot of pieces just so I kind of see what exactly is necessary and what isn't, to help keep me on track so that I don't do what I was talking about earlier where I like will end up over rendering or something. It helps just it helps keep me focused on what I really need to be paying attention to. Now I'm just adding a bunch of little things to the spark here and deciding how much I want to push that, you know, how much I want to make it feel poppy. I ultimately decided I don't want it to feel that poppy. And so here's the final piece. Like I said, I really pushed the fingertips here, and I'm in love with how they turned out. So bright and so radiant like that. Super happy with it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'd like to thank the one patron that I have so far, Bob Likes Cheese. It's my friend Ian. I love you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you. If you like my work or you're interested at all in supporting me or anything like that, please consider checking out my Patreon. I have a link to all of my stuff in the description. But yeah, I'm kind of just getting up and running, started with all of this. I'm finding a good groove and a good schedule that works for me for putting out more content while also juggling my full-time illustration work. And also potentially finding a part-time job to help with bills. So yeah, if you like my stuff, please consider checking out my Patreon. It's gonna have some really sick content on there. Anyways, thank you so much again. Really, honestly, it means so much. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, thanks. Goodbye.